Hi, it is July 7th, and I apologize for my camera. Looks like it's glitching a little bit. I'm not sure why it does that. Anyway, hopefully it won't be too bad. We're First Chronicles 4:5 through 5:17. The names, the names. Ashur, the father of Tekoa, had two wives named Helah and Naarah. Naarah gave birth to Ahuzam, Hefer, Timni, and Haahashtari. Helah gave birth to Zereth, Izhar, Ethnan, and Koz, who became the ancestor of Anub, Zobabah, and all the families of Aharel, son of Harum. There was a man named Jabez. Nice and easy. Why couldn't they all be nice and easy? Who was more honorable than any of his brothers. His mother named him Jabez because his birth had been so painful. He was the one who prayed to the God of Israel, "Oh, that you would bless me and expand my territory. Please be with me in all that I do and keep me from all trouble and pain." And God granted him his request. I find it interesting that in all these descendants, that he's the one they say something about. Do they even say anything about any of his descendants? That's interesting. And that's a prayer a lot of people like to pray now too. Kelub, the brother of Shuha, was the father of Mahur. Mahur was the father of Eshton. Eshton was the father of Beth-Rapha, Paseah, and Tehinnah. Tehinnah was the father of Nahash. These were the descendants of Rechah. The sons of Kenaz were Othniel and Seraiah. Othniel's sons were Hathith and Meonothai. Meonothai was the father of Ophrah. Seraiah was the father of Joab, the founder of the Valley of Craftsmen, so called because they were craftsmen. The sons of Caleb, son of Jephunneh, were Iru, Elah, and Naam. The son of Elah was Kenaz. The sons of Jehalelel were Ziphah, Tiria, and Asarel. The sons of Ezra were Jether, Mered, Epher, and Jalon. One of Mered's wives became the mother of Miriam, Shammai, and Ishbah, the father of Eshtemoa. He married a woman from Judah. Come on, get off my lip. So annoying. It's still there. Whatever. He married a woman from Judah who became the mother of Jared, the father of Gedor, Heber, the father of Soko, and Jekuthiel, the father of Zanoah. Mered also married Bithiah, a daughter of Pharaoh, and she bore him children. Hodiah's wife was the sister of Naham. One of her sons was the father of Keilah the Garmite, and another was the father of Eshtemoa the Maacathite. The sons of Shimon were Amnon, Rinnah, Ben-Hanan, and Tilon. The descendants of Ishi were Zoheth and Ben-Zoheth. Some of them weren't very creative with names, were they? Shelah was one of Judah's sons. The descendants of Shelah were the father of Leka, Leadah, the father of Marishah, the families of linen workers at Beth Ashbea, Joachim, the men of Kozeba, and Joash, and Seraph, who ruled over Moab, and Jashubi-Lehem. Oh man, I've got a bunch more to go. These names all come from ancient records. Be kind of nice to see those ancient records, wouldn't it? If you could understand them. They were the pottery makers who lived in Netaim and Gederah. They lived there and worked for the king. The sons of Simeon were Jemuel, Jamin, Jerub, Zoar, and Shaul. The descendants of Shaul were Shallum, Mibsam, and Mishma. The descendants of Mishma were Hamuel, Zakur, and Shimei. Shimei had 16 sons and 6 daughters, but none of his brothers had large families. So Simeon's tribe never grew as large as the tribe of Judah. They lived in Beersheba, Moladah, Hazar Shual, Bilhah, Ezem, Tolad, Bethuel, Hormah, Ziklag, Beth Markaboth, Hazar Susam, Beth Biri, and Sheraraim. These towns were under the control until the time of King David. These towns were under their control until the time of King David. Their descendants also lived in Etam, Ain, Rimmon, Token, and Ashan, 5 towns and their surrounding villages as far away as Baalath. This was their territory, and these names are listed in their genealogical records. Other descendants of Simeon included Meshobab, Jamlech, Josha, son of Amaziah, Joel, Jehu, son of Joshabiah, son of Suriah, son of Aziel, Elionai, Jacobah, Jeshoiah, Isaiah, Adiel, Jesimiel, Benaiah, and Ziza, son of Shiphi, son of Alon, son of Jedaiah, son of Shimri, son of Shemaiah. We're still not done. These were the names of some of the leaders of Simeon's wealthy clans. Their families grew, and they traveled to the region of Gerar in the east part of the valley, seeking pasture land for their flocks. They found lush pastures there, and the land was quiet and peaceful. Some of Han's descendants had been living in that region, but during the reign of King Hezekiah of Judah, these leaders of Simeon invaded the region and completely destroyed the homes of the descendants of Ham and of the Meunites. No trace of them remains today. They killed everyone who lived there and took the land for themselves because they wanted its good pasture land for their flocks. You know, that's kind of like the American way. You want it, just take it. That's what we've done, right? That's how we got the land in the first place. Yeah, don't get me started. 500 of these invaders from the tribe of Simeon went to Mount Seir, led by Pelatiah, Neriah, Rephaiah, and Uzziel, all sons of Ishi. They destroyed the few Amalekites who had survived, and they have lived there ever since. The oldest son of Israel was Reuben, but since he dishonored his father by sleeping with one of his father's concubines, his birthright was given to the son of his brother Joseph. For this reason, Reuben is not listed in the genealogical records as the firstborn son. Interesting. The descendants of Judah became the most powerful tribe and provided a ruler for the nation, but the birthright belonged to Joseph. The sons of Reuben, the oldest son of Israel, were Hanok, Palu, Hezron, and Carmi. The descendants of Joel were Shemaiah, Gog, Shimei, Micah, Reaiah, Baal. Why would you name somebody Baal? That's the name of somebody's god. And Bera. Bera was the leader of the Reubenites when they were taken into captivity by King Tiglath-Pileser of Assyria. Bera's relatives are listed in their genealogical records by their clans: Jeiel the leader, Zechariah, and Bela son of Azaz, son of Shema, son of Joel. The Reubenites lived in the area that stretches from Aroer to Nebo and Baal-Meon. And since they had so many livestock in the land of Gilead, they spread east toward the edge of the desert that stretches to the Euphrates River. During the reign of Saul, the Reubenites defeated the Hagrites in battle. Then they moved into the Hagrite settlements along the eastern edge of Gilead. Next to the Reubenites, the descendants of Gad lived in the land of Bashan as far east as Salekah. Joel was the leader in the land of Bashan, and Shapham was second in command, followed by Janai and Shaphat. Their relatives, the leaders of 7 other clans, were Michael, Meshulam, Sheba, Jorai, Jasin, don't know, Zia, and Eber. These were all descendants of Abihail, son of Huri, son of Jeroah, son of Gilead, son of Michael, son of Jehishai, son of Jado, son of Buz, B-U-Z, you figured out. Ahi, son of Abdiel, son of Guni, was the leader of their clans. The lived in the land of Gilead and in Bashan and its villages, and throughout all the pasture lands of Sharon. All of these were listed in the genealogical records during the days of King Jotham of Judah and King Jeroboam of Israel. Oh man, I don't think 2nd Chronicles is as bad as 1st Chronicles. 1st Chronicles is just torture. I think I've said that every day for the last 3. Sorry. Acts 25, 1 through 27. 3 days after Festus arrived in Caesarea to take over his new responsibilities, he left for Jerusalem, where the leading priests and the other Jewish leaders met with him and made their accusations against Paul. They asked Festus as a favor to transfer Paul to Jerusalem, planning to ambush and kill him on the way. But Festus replied that Paul was at Caesarea and he himself would be returning there soon. So he said, "Those of you in authority can return with me. If Paul has done anything wrong, you can make your accusations." Now remember, he's been there like 3 years. And they're still wanting to just kill him after 3 years of him being in jail. About 8 or 10 days later, Festus returned to Caesarea, and on the following day he took his seat in court and ordered that Paul be brought in. When Paul arrived, the Jewish leaders from Jerusalem gathered around and made many serious accusations they could not prove. Paul denied the charges. "I am not guilty of any crime against the Jewish laws or the temple or the Roman government," he said. Then Festus, wanting to please the Jews, asked him, "Are you willing to go to Jerusalem and stand trial before me there?" But Paul replied, "No, this is the official Roman court, so I ought to be tried right here. You know very well I am not guilty of harming the Jews. If I have done something worthy of death, I don't refuse to die. But if I am innocent, no one has a right to turn me over to these men to kill me. I appeal to Caesar." Festus conferred with his advisers and then replied, "Very well, you have appealed to Caesar, and to Caesar you will go." A few days later, King Agrippa arrived with his sister Bernice to pay their respects to Festus. During their stay of several days, Festus discussed Paul's case with the king. "There's a prisoner here," he told him, "whose case was left for me by Felix. When I was in Jerusalem, the leading priests and Jewish elders pressed charges against him and asked me to condemn him. I point out to them that Roman law does not convict people without a trial. They must be given an opportunity to confront their accusers and defend themselves. When his accusers came here for the trial, I did not delay. I called the case the very next day and ordered Paul brought in. But the accusations made against him weren't any of the crimes I expected. Instead, it was something about their religion and a dead man named Jesus, who Paul insists is alive. I was at a loss to know how to investigate these things, so I asked him whether he would be willing to stand trial on these charges in Jerusalem, but Paul appealed to have his case decided by the emperor. So I ordered that he be held in custody until I could arrange to send him to Caesar." "I'd like to hear the man myself," Agrippa said. And Festus replied, "You will, tomorrow." So the next day, Agrippa and Bernice arrived at the auditorium with great pomp, accompanied by military officers and prominent men of the city. Festus ordered that Paul be brought in. Then Festus said, "King Agrippa and all who are here, this is the man whose death is demanded by all the Jews, both here and in Jerusalem." That's just crazy. But in my opinion, he has done nothing deserving of death. However, since he appealed his case to the emperor, I have decided to send him to Rome. But what shall I write the emperor? For there is no clear charge against him. So I have brought him before all of you, and especially you, King Agrippa, so that after we examine him, I might have something to write. For it makes no sense to send a prisoner to the emperor without specifying the charges against him. So the Jewish people couldn't even get their story straight about what to accuse Paul of. And that should be a clear indication that they're just grasping at straws, that they just want him dead. Not for any good reason, they just want him dead. So that should be very clear. And it's a shame too, right? It's a shame that you would have so much hate in your heart for anybody, and I hope that you don't. And if you do have hatred in your heart, I hope that you will pray and ask God to forgive you and help you to overcome that hatred, because it's not good. It only eats you up. It only tears you apart. So Yeah, get rid of hatred and replace it with love. And you can do that starting with the Bible, starting with prayer, starting with repentance, and surrounding yourself with people who will pray for you. And yeah, if you have something, a need like that, post it below or message me at the Po House, either on Instagram or Facebook. The links are in the description. So there you go, your Bible reading for today. Do not forget to click over here for Psalms and Proverbs. That is part of daily Bible reading. And I will see you tomorrow. Have a great day. God bless you. I love you. Bye.